question, what has this or this got to do with anxiety? Well, you might be surprised. There's been a recent study that shows that people who consume less than 3 portions of fruit or veg every day are 24% more likely to suffer with an anxiety disorder. This new research was taking place in what's called the Canadian Longitudinal Study on Aging. And what they found was that those who consumed few fruits and vegetables were 24% more likely to suffer with anxiety, and those who had an increased amount of body fat were even more likely to suffer with anxiety. Now, obviously, this is not the only factor when it comes to developing anxiety. There's many other factors which I'll talk about in other videos. But this is really important one that is often overlooked by people. And the lead researcher, someone called Karen Davison, estimates that at least 10% of the worldwide population suffers with some form of anxiety disorders, and that those who consume less than 3 portions of fruit and veg every day are 24% more likely to suffer with anxiety disorders, and those who have a body fat of over 36% are 70% more likely to suffer with anxiety disorders. Now, this is huge. This is a huge amount. So it's really crucial. Now, you might think to yourself, well, what's that got to do with fruit and veg? Well, it's simple. There's new research now that shows that people who have inflammation in their body are far more likely to suffer with anxiety or depression type disorders. And it's absolutely known that certain fruits and vegetables lower the inflammation in your body, and junk foods increase the inflammation in your body. So when you're trying to take care of your own anxiety, of course, there are many things you can do, from self-help books and tapes and videos and things like that, going for a therapist. But if your diet isn't cleaned up, you're really not helping yourself. So first step, when someone comes in as a client, the first thing I ask them is, what's your diet like? And if they're telling me that most of the time they're eating junk foods, they don't eat fruits and vegetables, or if they do, they eat them very rarely. And also if they're consuming huge amounts of caffeine, in this day and age, there's a Starbucks on every corner, and you'd be absolutely horrified about how much caffeine is in one of these tall drinks. Or they're drinking Red Bull or Monster, if they're smoking. All of these things will add up, and they will cause an overstimulation of your nervous system, which leads to anxiety disorders. And then the slightest thing that happens around you will trigger off feelings of anxiety. So the first step really is to lower the inflammation in your body. So if you're serious about getting rid of anxiety, take a good hard look at what you're eating first. Because if you're not consuming the recommended 5 or more fruits and vegetables a day, if you're drinking loads of coffee or Red Bull or Monster, and if you're smoking, which has got nicotine in, which is again another stimulant, then you're really not helping yourself. So first things first, check your diet, and you'll be surprised how quickly you can lower some of the symptoms of anxiety just by making this simple change. And of course, it's not an overnight thing. It will take a good while for this to build up in your body and for the inflammation to begin to reduce. But it is, apart from the obvious things of your health, we're always told we should eat 5+ portions of fruit and veg every day, but many of us don't. So there's many health benefits to doing that, not least of which it can lower your risk of anxiety. So give it a go.